But right now we're interviewing Bryce from Deal With It in Thunder Bay. How you doing, Bryce?
Well, my name is Bryce. I'm a former rocket ship member. I moved away a year or so ago, and the past year I've been working with some guys around this area. We wanted to kind of get sort of a different sort of it's similar, I guess. You could put it in the same genre as my old band, but it's a little bit more, I don't know, more of a soft rock, I guess, approach to it. I don't know. I haven't heard new rocket shit very much. I've heard that kind of tone down the pop punkiness, which is cool. The guy's got a wicked singer now, and he's really talented. But I guess our flavor is kind of similar. If you're into bands like from the early 2000s, you know, like the Ataris and Starting Line, stuff like that, I guess that's the kind of pop punk genre we would fall into.
Okay, cool. So, yeah. Have you guys played many shows in your area?
We actually just played our first show 2.5 weeks ago. Yeah, there's Thunder Bay's got a really, really good connected music scene here. Everybody kind of knows each other. It's a very tight-knit music scene, and everyone, you know, everyone's friends and really supports each other. It's pretty good. So we played a show at a place called the Black Pirates Pub. It's kind of one of our main scene venues. It was a pretty decent show. We played fairly early in the night, so you know you're not going to expect a huge turnout then. But we had a lot of people come out and support us and showed us a lot of love, and it went over pretty well. Then we played a festival last weekend, I think it was, called Music for the Masses, which is a big thing here. Well, it's not going to seem like a big deal to you guys because George Street does it every single night, but I mean, it's kind of like you buy one wristband and you can get into any bar in town, and there's a whole lineup of bands playing every single, you know, bar. It was a lot of fun. We had a good show there.
That's cool. So, should we take it away with one of Deal With It's tracks?
Sure. This is the first track off the EP. This one's called Erase. Okay, we're back here on the party on CHMR.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Oh no, you unplugged me. Okay. That's better. Okay.
So we just heard Hold Steady from Deal With It.
Yes, we did.
And we're here with Bryce from Deal With It. From Thunder Bay.
Everybody.
Via Skype.
The
fancy Skype.
Yes, bridging the gap between provinces, as they say.
Yeah, I did that drive. I drove. Remember when I moved? It was like 4 days of just nonsense, and I didn't know. I got on the ferry and I left Newfoundland, and you guys all came to my going away party and stuff, and it was all sad. And so I get on the ferry and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the longest few days ever. And what happens? What would make a long drive longer is driving with your dad. So my dad surprises me up in like northern friggin' wherever it was, Halifax there. And he's like, hey, son, I'm going to drive with you for the next 3,000 kilometers. So him, and it was interesting, to say the least. We stopped at Tim's, I think, honestly, if you had to guess, definitely 23 times.
Oh, my God. That's a very precise number.
Oh, yeah. No, we didn't go to anywhere else. Nowhere else but Tim Hortons, like 5 times a day. It was ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
It's wild.
I'm surprised when you lived here you didn't take advantage of the fact that I worked at Tim Hortons.
I took advantage of that very much, I thought. And I took advantage of that from everybody, though. If I could either get like an ice cap from somebody or spaghetti or something, that I would make it happen. I even got spaghetti in that very studio that you're sitting in right now.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is a thing that happened.
That was a fun story.
Remember, we begged someone to bring us in spaghetti. And
That was funny.
Cool. So I guess back to the music.
Back to the music, yeah.
Here's about the music. Spaghetti.
Arm spaghetti.
So where did you record? Where'd you guys record the album or the EP?
Actually, our lead singer AJ, he's got most of the gear in his basement, right? He's got all the mics and all the the gear that we would possibly need. And I went to school for audio engineering, so we kind of mixed our expertise. He engineered a good portion of it, and we mixed it together, and then I mastered it one day, and I think it came out sounding pretty good for some basement recordings. I mean, we kind of just set aside a weekend. We all just went and, crammed ourselves into a basement for the weekend and made it happen. It came out sounding pretty good. I'm happy with it.
Very cool. So who did your album art?
Oh, all right. So our drummer, it's awesome because this band basically has every form of advertising thing we could need. We have 2 recording engineers. Our other guitarist is a graphic designer. Our drummer is a photographer / everything man. So it was pretty. I don't know where the bird came from actually. I 3 a.m. I asked him hey man, can you do up a quick little EP cover? And he just shoots me back a picture with a bird on it. And I was like, where'd you get that? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, so whoever took that picture of the bird out there is not getting the credit they deserve. But we threw the words "deal with it" on top, and that's pretty much how that EP came to be.
So where did the name come from?
Well, there's a dirty story, and then there's a curated story I can tell you. So we'll mix it up. We'll go with PG. So you can look at it in the bedhead form of messy hair when you wake up in the morning, or you could look at it in another way. If anyone's got a dirty mind, they can kind of put that. Yeah, I'm looking at the face. Everybody gets it, so I guess we meant it in the dirty way. But bedhead. So let's.
Oh, haha.
Yeah.
Got it.
I watched everybody's reaction there.
We're good. I thought we were talking about the name. Deal with it.
The band
and I was
name.
That's
arguing. We argued for 3 months on a band name, and eventually, I think we got into one big argument one night on. We all talk to each other through a message board on Facebook sometimes because we don't really want to call each other. Who cares? I did that with Rocket Rocket Ship too, and I don't think we ever physically spoke in person outside of being at band practice. But we were arguing for just ever trying to think of a band name. And then I think at one point we were going to call ourselves Hey Jose. And that's awesome. And I was so happy with it. And then what do? I go and look it up, and it's a band. And then so I yelled at my singer. I'm like, well, you can't think of anything. He's like, well, you can't think of anything. I'm like, well, then let's just not have a band name then. He's like, fine, deal with it. I'm like, that's it. And then,
oh dear.
The rest is history. Plus, if anybody doesn't like our band or post, horrible things about us on our Facebook page, we can just say deal with it. So it works really good for heckling drunk people at shows too. Oh, your band sucks. Yeah, we'll deal with it. And it's it works for just about any insult.
That's grand.
All right, let's take a break and we'll hear another track off that EP.
So, Bryce, would you like to talk a little bit about, your personal musical inspirations and also, I guess, what kind of inspires Deal With It as a whole?
Well,
no? Okay.
As of lately, I think a lot of us, half the band's kind of split. We're all in the mid-20s and going up. So, I mean, I'm 23, Luca's 24, AJ's 26, and the other guy's 26, and Danny. And so we're all kind of come from, I guess our prime, when we were really started all getting into music is, late 90s, early 2000s, that whole range. And that's kind of when that pop punk became really popular. So I think a lot of us are kind of, you got to stop making that face. I'm going to die laughing if you don't stop. I got the guys on Skype here, and they insisted that we put it on video so I could see all the faces they're making while I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to tell them stuff. But, so anyways, I'm going to look away for a minute. So yeah, we're all kind of really inspired by that early 2000s pop punk, I think. Really when it was all about, the bad hair, worse haircuts than my own right now. But, when haircuts were spiky, jeans were baggy, and, it was all about skateboarding and having a good time. So I think we like to kind of blend that sound a bit with a little bit of newer influences just to kind of keep it fresh, but, feeling, I guess, as far as you can feel for vintage in pop punk at the same time. So I think that's kind of where we get our influence. We all just sort of press our 2000s favorites together and see what we can come up with.
Very cool. So, can you just, I guess, mention or talk about either or, what?
You did it again, Chelsea.
I did do it again in the upcoming future. the differences between Newfoundland's and Thunder Bay's music scene?
You want to know the differences?
Or similarities?
It's there. I find that with the Newfoundland music scene, anyways. When I lived there, it was. It's not that it wasn't a good scene. I mean, it's got the most talented musical people in the world all the most talented musical people I've ever met came from St. John's and Newfoundland. But I found that there seems to be this kind of chip on a lot of people's shoulders in the sense that it's more of a competition. Like, people argue for set times at a show, and if one band who thinks they have amount of sonority, they don't play the time slot they want to play, then they'll just, they'll come up with an excuse 20 minutes before the show and say, oh, one of my blah blah guys is working and now we can't play the show. And just, it's always kind of like everyone's sort of got this, they think that they're, very important, but at the end of the day, music scene can't thrive unless everyone's supporting each other, because let's face it, 90% of the shows you're playing, it's the other bands that are watching you. I mean, unless you find some fame and success or, start kind of getting yourself out there in a popular sense, most of the time you're playing shows, it's, the band's opening for you or the band you're opening for is the one standing out there with all their girlfriends watching you. And I just found that there's a lot of competition, I guess, in St. John's, and it kind of puts a strain between a lot of bands. You get that you get a bunch of bands that are friends with each other, then you get another bunch of bands that are friends with each other, and they won't play shows together, blah blah blah, this and that, and it kind of makes for a loose scene. But here it seems like all the friends have kind of grown up together here, and the scene's been going for the better part of 20 years, and as new generations come on, they really look up to the previous bands and the older guys, and they kind of inspire to do what they've done, and it makes for a pretty tight scene here. I mean, a lot of the guys are kind of getting older here now, and Thunder Bay is similar to St. John's, where it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So if you don't stay true to your friends and your fans, who else is going to come out to your show? We're 8 hours from the next real big city that's not in the United States. So yeah, it comes all down to you gotta keep your friends close, and you can't go dividing up a scene, otherwise the scene will never flourish.
For sure. So speaking of shows, do you guys have any upcoming shows?
As far as I know, we're playing at the Black Pirates Pub again, which kind of looks like it's going to be our bar here for a while. We are playing October 19th. I can't tell you too many details. We go on at 11, I want to say.
Okay.
And I think the show's still kind of in the building works right now, so I can't say who else is playing. I'm sure whoever's playing, it's going to be an awesome show, and we would look forward to playing with them.
Very cool.
Okay. Last question from us. Where can people check out your music?
We have a Bandcamp page, which I don't know the name of, but I'm sure you guys with your nifty computers there can... it can be found on our Facebook page, which is, let me get that for you real quick right now. It is facebook.com/dealwithitband, all one word. And you can scroll down the page there and click on our music box over on the far right. We also, last week, we put out a lyric video for our song The Mend, which I think you guys played earlier.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to check that out, we had some fun making that. That's just kind of a few shots around town. I stayed up till like 3:30 in the morning making that thing, and I don't know if you guys ever use iMovie, but
yeah,
it sucks.
Yep.
So bad. It's like, I was going to put it all in Comic Sans, just because I know there's a couple of people in the room there that would have lost their minds. No, but it's just pain in the butt trying to line up text with the actual lyrics. But I think it came out pretty good, so if everyone wants to check that out, that'd be cool.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Bryce.
Thanks for having me, guys. I always enjoy being on the air with you guys, and I hope you guys do well in the future here.
Thanks very much.
All right. See you later, guys.